Well, welcome to Iowa, where Tuesday's summer, Wednesday's winter, and Thursday is, well, literally spring. And I know a lot of us want Iowa to chill out, but we got to make it through tomorrow first. Good afternoon, I'm Storm Track 7 meteorologist Joshua Franson, and we have a cooler day on tap for today, almost like winter's trying to make its way back in, but we have a saving grace in the forecast, and we'll get to that in just a bit. The main cause for this cooler air, though, those northerly winds at about 10 to 20 miles an hour, possibly gusting up to 30 miles an hour. They'll fall off this evening per usual and actually get quite calm tonight. Skies will also be clear and temperatures falling quite a bit. So frost, you can expect that to accumulate tonight across our areas. Have any outdoor plants, bring them in. But watch this, winds shifting.
Franson, Josh, you wanted to go outside. What's it like out there in Waterloo?
Yeah, well, this is the weather I definitely live for, this really inclement weather. In fact, they have me on a leash right now due to the cord of the microphone. And, well, in reality, if I was further out there, the winds are a lot stronger if you're, first of all, away from buildings. Well, it is Severe Weather Awareness Week, and as always, we stress know the hazards, know when they're going to occur. Pay attention to the forecast, and make sure you have a plan in place. And, well, for today, we'll talk about some tornado safeties. Now, here's our saving grace to help us warm up throughout the week. We're going to see a ridge of high pressure build out west here over the desert southwest. And I always talk about this because it really does influence our temperatures and can help us really change how we feel this season. Conditions may seem a little more clear in town. Doesn't mean if you're driving out of town they will be clear. Blowing snow will still be possible out there, and despite the snow being very thick, with these powerful wind gusts, it doesn't really matter. It can still pick it up and blow it across the roads. So if you are anything that does fall, likely going to melt on contact with the roadways. There's that band sort of consolidating and weakening. You might actually see some showers as well, as we are warming up just a little bit in this band. This ridge will eventually begin to slide our way as we head into the weekend. That pushes temperatures into the mid-60s, possibly even to the mid-70s. By Sunday, and that'll give us plenty of warm air before eventually we'll usually see some low pressure swing on by afterwards and return us to normal. But until then, look at your forecast highs building up here from the 40s to the 50s, hanging in the 60s for just a little bit to close the work week, and then on Sunday, then you finally see those 70s pop up. I want to stress with the system is the main hazard is those winds, and across our area, one thing that's all in common within all these advisories, whether it's the blizzard warning, wind advisory, or high wind warning, is, well, the wind. Precipitation chances. Notice between Wednesday and Thursday, winds originally westerly and then shift out of the south and then southwest. That really helps us warm up quite a bit. That will also allow us to get more moisture. In fact, on Thursday, there is a level 1 out of 5 severe weather risk. Now, there's nothing widespread expected. It's fairly low risk. But areas further off to the south, which is where we expect those storms to be, a couple isolated storms may be capable of producing some hail. There it is on your city-by-city forecast. Thursday, that is sitting at a level 2 out of 5, mainly across eastern areas. And I'll walk you through it with Future Track, and we'll break it down sort of one by one. Pretty much sitting cloudy throughout the day as that rain begins to move on through. Scattered showers, areas further north where you're a little bit cooler. Maybe a couple snowflakes thrown in there, but after midnight, we'll start to see some more moisture move into our area, and that provides the opportunity for some thunderstorms. Those will begin to move through around 1 to 2 a.m., and then we'll see those increase in coverage by about 4 a.m. Some of the more intense portions of this cluster of storms could contain some larger hail and some gusty winds. There is no tornado threat associated with these as they're happening at nighttime. Slightly cloudy, but around Tuesday evening, we'll see a couple more clouds as our next weather system arrives. But until then, happy St. Patrick's Day. Not wearing green because I don't want my chest to disappear, but here earlier, and well, there was plenty of snow blowing around, reducing the visibilities. That has since ended, and now it's mainly just that powerful wind. A lot of these flag poles behind me and street poles are sort of shaking due to the wind. And with that snow, as that transition happens, another thing right behind it is that wind, powerful wind gusts. You'll see it slide on in here with that band. And then we could see gusts tomorrow anywhere between 50 and 60 miles an hour. Hand it over to Storm Track 7 meteorologist Joshua Franson. Yeah, you just described my Christmas setup. You know, 50,000 lights and a super tall tree. Nah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, temperatures, I mean... Today we're talking about one of the most important pieces of weather observation equipment available. That is weather balloons. And why are they so important? Well,
We have plenty of stations on the surface, but we don't have them up in the upper atmosphere. Vertical slice of the atmosphere, by the way. The red line, well, that's temperature. And then over here, here are the winds going up throughout the atmosphere. So it gives you a good idea of what's happening above you at a current point in time, and it's very useful for forecasting. Now up here, this is just called a hodograph. We use this especially for severe weather because it helps us understand wind shear and sort of how those winds change with height. So now we're back up in outer space. I'm not an alien, I promise, but if we zoom on out here, let's go take a visit to a geostationary satellite. In my opinion, a lot of these are the most miserable kinds of precipitation because, well, they make a lot of issues when it comes to driving. So let's break them down right now. Rain mainly consists of a thick layer of warm air beneath the cloud base. Cumulus, stratus, and my personal favorite, nimbus. But we're going to talk about the one that's been keeping our skies very gray as of late. That is stratus clouds, typically existing between 2,000 and 4,000 feet in the atmosphere. Surplus of air in the atmosphere. Now what this means is that air that's sitting in that surplus is going to want to be driven towards that area where there's a void of air because the atmosphere wants to be balanced.
For Sport Live, we're beginning to close on a cell here that's beginning to get the look, and if I show you it, you can see a little bit of rotation in that slight hook right there. So we're going to continue to get in front of this thing and hopefully get a view on what's going on in that updraft. So we dropped debris ball. So as it tracks up here, it may still be on the ground, it may not be. It could recycle, it could do several things. So we're going to be watching this very closely. We're going to get an eye on that base and get a view of it. All right, back there's the RFD cut. And as you can see, it's still on the ground. It's dropping multiple different vortexes. Definitely got dust getting kicked up into this thing. Of initiation going on off the dry line. We have plenty of supercells going up right now. The models didn't necessarily have them firing this early or having this many cells. However, it is convecting. We are a little concerned with dew points, but as we go into the evening, dew points will increase. It's coming out of the southeast, massive moisture advection going on, mass response.
Franson Sport Live, these winds are super strong. They're howling. There's the storm, there's the Scuddy base. Kind of shelfy right now, still maturing. There's a little dip. That is an absolutely insane tornado.